Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I thought I'd better come out and say something because I could see that you were all in a great mass here, and I apologise for being slow with coming down. You know, you want to ask my views on Europe, don't you? Let me tell you where I've got to, which is that I've made up my mind, and I want to stress, because I can see that we got lots of people here. We've got a huge crowd here. I want to stress that this is not about whether you love Europe or not. I love Brussels. I used to live in Brussels. Fantastic city, wonderful place. And I love European culture and civilization. I consider it to be the greatest civilization this planet has ever produced. And we are all products, or most of us here are products of that civilization. And it is a fantastic thing. But there should be no confusion between the wonders of Europe and holidays in Europe and fantastic food and friendships and whatever else you get from Europe with a political project that is basically going on now for decades, which Britain has been a member of since 1975, and I now think is in real danger of getting out of proper democratic control. That is my view, and it's a view I've held for a long time. I've written a huge number of articles about it. And when people talk about sovereignty, this is not something that is possessed by politicians. Sovereignty is people's ability, the ability of the public to control their lives and to make sure that the people they elect are able to pass the laws that matter to them. And the trouble is with Europe that is being very greatly eroded, and you're seeing it more and more over employment, over border controls, over human rights, over all sorts of stuff. And you've got a supreme judicial body in the European Court of Justice that projects down on this entire 500 million people territory a single unified judicial order from which there is absolutely no recourse and no comebacks. And in my view, that has been getting out of control. There's too much judicial activism, there's too much legislation coming from the EU. And so I look at what the Prime Minister achieved the other day, and I have to say, I think given the time he had, he did fantastically well. I think everybody should pay tribute to David Cameron for what he pulled off in a very short space of time. But I don't think anybody could realistically claim that this is fundamental reform of the EU or of Britain's relationships with the EU. And it's my view that after 30 years of writing about this, we have a chance actually to do something. I have a chance actually to do something. I would like to see a new relationship based more on trade, on cooperation, but as I say, with much less of this supranational element. So that's where I'm coming from, and that's why I've decided, after a huge amount of heartache, because I did not want to do anything. The last thing I wanted was to go against David Cameron or the government. But after a great deal of heartache, I don't think there's anything else I can do. I will be advocating vote leave, or whatever the team is called. I understand there are many of them. I think that is basically because I want a better deal for the people of this country, to save them money and to take back control. That's really, I think, what this is all about. What I won't do, I just stress, what I won't do is take part in loads of blooming TV debates against other members of my party. And I heard I was told about what the Prime Minister had to say this morning about not sharing platforms with George Galloway and other individuals. I won't do that either. I will, if I'm asked my views, and you've been kind enough to come in considerable numbers to ask my views, I will give my views, because that's what they are.
Boris, if that's really what you've thought all along, why have you kept your party waiting for such a long time?
Because the truth is that it has been agonisingly difficult, and I think for many of us, what I said over many years, well, a couple of years now, is I would like to be in a reformed EU, and that's my hope, and an EU that's based more on free trade and fundamental treaty change. I don't think that has really been offered, and so that's where I am.
Isn't this a calculated, cynical play for the leadership of the Conservative Party?
On the contrary, I think that really and truly it would be the best thing possible for the people who are listening to this debate, who are wondering genuinely in their minds which way to go. And I think a lot of people are undecided about this. It's so important if we focus on the question at hand. Is it better for Britain to remain in Europe as it currently is, or is there a way that we could actually get a better deal that did more for British democracy, restored some control to the people of this country? That's the crucial thing for me.
Massive
But it does really look like this is about your leadership.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Robert Pesson. Yeah.
Boris,
Look, you've had to go, Laura.
Quite close colleagues of yours do say that they see it as your pitch to be Tory leader.
No.
Reassure them that's not the case.
It's not, and I want to make one thing and another thing clear. Whatever happens at the end of this, and I've said this to the Prime Minister, he's got to stay. And look, the big battalions of the argument are unquestionably ranged against people like me. We are portrayed as crazy cranks and all the rest of it. I don't mind. I happen to think that I'm right. It's a very, very difficult case to make. I've thought an awful lot about it. I've thought about it for many, many years, and I don't see how, having worried about this issue for quite so long and having fulminated for quite so long about the lack of democracy in the EU, I can then pass up what I think will be the only chance any of us have in our lifetimes to put an alternative point of view.
Mr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.